In this video, I wanted to briefly introduce some of the materials that I had used last year for styles and themes, and to show you how you can use them to help design your Android app and work smarter, not harder. So first of all, if you open up this file, and I know it says Unit 1, that's just because last year it was referred to as Unit 1. Here's a link to a repository, and if you clone this repository, the code that is in here still works. So you can open this up and then just play around with it. So there's a couple of things that I want you to notice, and so I would recommend opening up this PDF document and having it off to the side while I go through these things in the document in the actual Android file. So the first thing that I want you to notice is if we take a look at this main page of what we're going to see here. Let's show my system UI. Okay, so if we take a look at this, what we're going to see here is we are going to see if we go to Design View Only, we'll see that we have a scroll view here with multiple fields. We'll also notice that this right here has a different styling on it. Now, if we take a look at the split view so we can see the code as well, I want to show you a couple things to point out here, and then I'll show you how I did them. So first of all, I want you to notice that I used a scroll view topmost layout, and with this layout, that's what allows me to have scrolling within here. And then within my scroll view, I have a linear layout. And linear layout, you can just allow things to show up on the screen, boom, boom, boom. And in this case, I have a top-down formation. You can also do a left-to-right formation. You can also put a constraint layout within your scroll view. But that was what I did here. I also want you to notice that I have some of these sizes. You see how they have a little bit of a green box around them? That's because those values are not hard-coded. They are actually styles that are set up in my dimens file, and I'll show you that in just a minute. If I hover over them, I can see where they are located, and if I click on them, the actual value that is there will be replaced. So essentially, when I see this little box like that, that's telling me that that's the value at that location, but what I really have typed in is a variable value. Now, these variable values are all part of my dimens file, and dimens stands for resource or for dimensions, and these are part of our resources that we have. If we look in our folder view, we will see in our resources folder that we have our values folder, and I have several files here, probably more so than you do, and not that it's a competition. And if we click on this dimens file, which you may not have, and let's say you wanted to create one if you don't have it, you can click on values and right click and then just say new, and we will say resource file, and then from here you can give it a name, and then it will allow you to start typing within it. So here I have my dimens file, and within here you're going to notice a couple things. First of all, the beginning and ending tag must start with resources, and that's because these are resources for my app. Within there I have this dimen tag, and that allows me to define a dimension. Whenever I am setting an attribute for something that is a dimensional value, it will auto-populate this as one of the options. Kind of like how, oh, there goes the bell. Kind of like how when I have something set up in my colors.xml file, if I'm trying to change the color for something and I start typing @color, it'll then pull up all of these because these have color tags. So you'll notice that these are all within our resources outside tag, but then inside that, same thing with our strings file, within that we have the specific type of resource that it is. Okay, so if we go back to my XML file, you will see that I have those in there. The next thing I want you to notice is DP, and DP is the way that we do our spacing in Android. We don't use pixels, we use DP, which are density, I believe it stands for density independent pixels. We also use SP for font sizes, and those two units of measurement are independent of the resolution of your phone size or your phone screen. So you want to use DP for all dimensions and SP for your fonts. You'll notice I have another dimens file for my font sizes, and it's set up the same way, resources, and then I just have my SPs here. So I could have them all in the same, but I chose to put them in separate ones. Now, the next thing that I have in this document that I wanted to talk about is the ability to work within themes. So here I'm going to talk about a couple different themes that we can create, and I want to show you how you can make them and where you'll see that in your code. So in my styles.xml file, you will see here that I have my base application theme. Now, notice that again, it's in a resources file, and then we begin and end with the style tag. every time I create a new theme, I have a new style tag. All right. I can inherit from another theme. So this right here is inheriting from my base theme. Okay. And I'm giving it a new name. Now this is essentially overriding what I previously had and giving it more information. If I take a look at here, I can see the color codes and the color primary dark, and color accent. Those are specific colors that are used for the framework within this specific theme. So if you wanted to know how this specific theme works, then you can look more about this and look this up more online. I also specified a default text color and text size for this theme. So basically what that's going to do is that's going to make it so that everything within this theme will have those settings. I don't have to reset them for every single element. Now here what I did was I created a set theme that I would apply to a specific edit text. So this will allow me to have a whole set of settings, so I don't have to set them every time I put a new edit text on my in my XML file. And so the way that we can see this looking in our code, if we go to our main XML, you can see visually this is the different one that has that special theme. We can see if we look at this item in my XML, you'll see that it says style equals, and I have that style tag there. And this will just pull in all of those styles. I don't have to put anything else there. So you'll notice I didn't specify the width or height or anything for that one. It was all specified within that style theme. I also want you to notice if we take a look at the manifest file. So let's look at the manifest file. And these settings that we're going to see in here, Android Studio takes care of all these settings for us. First of all, I want you to notice that we have the overall theme for a specific activity. And here I have the overall theme that applies to my specific application. So my default theme for the application is this pink theme. And then this activity, other activities, default theme is dark. So if I were to take a look at this guy right here, its default look is going to be this dark theme. And we can change the theme by clicking on this right here, and it allows me to pick a different theme. So if I decide I want to change it to pink, I can, but I'm going to go back to whatever I had. Okay. All right, the last thing that I want to mention is in this document at the very bottom, I talked about more ways that we can be even more specific with our styling. This website is fantastic. I encourage you to check that out. And then I went into a little bit more detail about how you can further inherit your styling. So as you're coming up with the look and feel for your site, you really want to think about how you can take advantage of using colors and dimensions and styles for consistency so that all pages look the same. All right, I hope that was helpful, and have a wonderful day.